online handwriting recognition, automatic defect recognition projects. Later, he joined Nielsen to get industrial exposure and has been working there for more than 10 years in a wide variety of projects in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, NLP, and hardware, and has also contributed to 10 white papers and 2 publications in the peer reviewed journals and 2 patents. Over to Mr. Sricharan for the talk.
Yeah. So thanks everyone. So thanks for inviting me to this talk. And so today I'm going to present the work that I did in Nielsen over the past 5 years. Because before 5 years I used to work in Neurofocus, which is a small company where we used to collect EEG signals from the consumers, and we asked the users to come and take participate in the studies, and we collect EEG signals from them and show the advertisement. While they're watching the advertisement, we collect metrics like attention, emotion, memory, and then based on that, we give insights to the clients and how well the advertisements are all good. So we used to do that. We were in the back office, doing the signal processing stuff like clearing noise from the signals and calculating the scores. But also, I was testing the wireless headset. We developed our own dry wireless headset a long time back, and it's still in Germany. They're collaborated with with the hospital. I don't remember the name of the hospital. They collaborated with the hospital, and they used those dry wireless headset for the patients to collect data actually. So they're still using that as a headset, and even in consumer side as well, to collect data at home itself. So they ask the user to wear the headset and collect data samples to analyze the contents what they watch, and with eye tracking where they look and all. We provide insights like that long time back. Then after that I joined, they bought Neurofocus, and Nielsen bought Neurofocus, and then I moved to Nielsen. And later on I worked on a couple of projects related to AML and as well as hardware. And so today I'm going to talk about introduction to the Nielsen, and then going to give a quick overview of use cases that I dealt. I used to be a rapid prototype. I'm in the client side, so I used to talk to the stakeholders and create a rapid prototype, and then I will pass it on to the production team. So whatever the application and use cases that I dealt, I'm going to present that. And then later on, I'm going to showcase two projects that may be interesting to you. So one is like OCR in any language using image processing and deep learning, and then document scanner for using instance segmentation based on mask CNN. So these are the topics that I'm going to present today. So Nielsen is a market research company. So they're well versed in. So we provide retailers and manufacturers and providers the data. So Nielsen is all about data. So we collect the buy side of the data, what consumer buy, and how is the behavior and all. So we provide those data and insights to the retailers and manufacturers actually. So we collect data around every day, daily 5 TB of data and on from digital products, and and around 100K of people report daily on TV viewing as well. So since it's a split, so right now viewing we are not taking care of it, so it's media side. So we collect data on everyday basis, more than a 5 TB of data, and then store scans sales input, every day in store they scan input, and then those type of inputs and daily basis we around 85K, and then data delivery. So we have 55K stores measured daily actually. So it's a huge number of stores across the world. And so we have a in so since machine learning is booming, and then in every pipeline we used to have machine learning and AI and NLP. So uh, our strength also increasing. Like we have more than 100,000 plus data scientists across the globe. In India alone, we have three hubs. Main tech hub is Chennai, and then we have a data science team in Baroda, Baroda as well, and then in Bangalore also we have another team so where they'll be working on big data and as well. The tools and techniques overall, if you see, we use cloud very extensively because we deploy all the applications in cloud only. So we closely work with Microsoft partners, partnered with Microsoft, and we use Azure extensively and CI/CD pipeline in all process and so we use at every step machine learning. So while collecting data also, and then data coding. So data coding is nothing but when they collect data related to the products, they do the item coding. So like every brand of the product and what is the SKU, barcode, and everything. So and data coding. So there also we use machine learning and data validation, whether anomalies are there or not. So we do data validation and data analytics. So what we provide to the clients, the insights. So if you see, our data collection is powered by AI. So we have a lot of apps, while for collecting data, and the auditors will be asked to collect the data. So they go to the stores daily on a daily basis. So the auditors will be alerted with, what are the stores and data to be collected. We call it as a facts. So what are the facts to be collected today, and then they will go to the stores and they will collect those information. So in traditional method, so it will be a time consuming for auditors. So we cannot go in store and then take a lot of time to collect data. So it will so we try to reduce in store time for the auditors. So it will be cross charge for that. So for that, we are powered with AI to lower the in-store time. So what happens is when the auditors go to the stores, they collect images from the front shelf fronts, right? So in traditional method, what they do is they go to the stores and then they'll collect the purchase invoice, and then they'll do the stock audit. What are the stocks today, and what are the stocks cleared out, and then they'll go and take a photo of the front facing. So in traditional, what they do is they go and scan each of the barcode and of the product, and they'll collect information to solve the in-store time. Uh, we have a lot of AAML techniques to solve those, and we are going to see what are the applications that we did across those in solving the in-store time and all. So if you see the QCT layer is nothing but for the auditors, before collecting what we do. So that is what pre-processing. So we provide 12-month history of the store and the locality. So we even do route optimization for the auditors. So we have more than thousands of auditors going across the stores, and we manage route optimization, like which auditor is based on the location of the auditor where they go to the store and all, and which is the best route to go to the store, and based on the how many stores they want to collect. So that is the pre-processing layer. And then we have a chatbot RPA solution based. And then post collecting the data, we provide insights based on the collected history of the stores and velocity of the stores. So we do a lot of modeling, ML modeling based on that, and the auditor will be alerted if they do any mistake or any anomalies. Um, so if you see, the first project that I'm going to show you, the use case that I'm dealt with, e-collection. So we call it as e-collection. E-collection is nothing but, when the auditor go to the store, they have to collect the stock audit manually. the price of the product and SKU of the product. So to do the in-store time less, so we what we did is all we asked the auditor to collect the front shelf of the image actually. So if they collect the front side of the image, then we can do what we did is do an object detection and classify the products as well as detect the price associated with it. And so here in this image, what you see is, we did an object detection localization. So where it detects all the products in the given image, and as well as the price of the associated of the image. We do OCR on that price tag as well. So and then we associate nearby products. And then we collect the facts based on that. So it reduces a lot of in-store time for the auditors and cost to the company actually. So this is what we call it as e-collection. Like we use faster CNN to detect the objects and classify. Um, so we use ResNet 101 for as a backbone for that. So if you see the challenges are detecting the price the digital price tag which is presented below of the product, and we do OCR as you can see here, $1 4 cents. So we do our own OCR for that, and then we detect price for that, and then we associate the nearby products which is near which is nearby actually. So also we do recognition of promo, we call it as promotional, right? So we do those promotional as well, and then we'll reduce the price for that as well. So the benefit is in taking image faster than scanning all the products quickly. And it will save a lot of time for the auditors. So that's all about this project is for. Then if you see, this is an example of it, like original image, then after product localization, and then after product classification, you can see all the front-facing products will be calculated. So we are not calculating the products which is behind, so we only calculate the front-facing products. Um, and then the auditors will calculate how many products present behind manually actually for each product. So we have an app which associate the calculated products quantity and associate to that recognized products. So as you can see here, these are the three process flow, detecting the image and then price tag. And we do OCR of the price tag, and then we associate each of the products with the price tag. So what we collect is the image as well as the product code. So we train with this too, and so the challenges, we need to collect a lot of images, each of the samples. Since if it is Coke and Pepsi, it's easier to classify, but we have a lot of challenges within Coke itself. Coke Zero versus Coke Zero without caffeine. It looks similar, but for that we need to collect a lot of images to classify. So we see a lot of challenges over there. So we collect a lot of images per class, and then also for different lighting condition and different pose as well. So these are the challenges we come across. The second one is item coding. So this is similar project, but this is uh, the item coding is nothing but collecting the nutritional facts behind the products as well as the ingredients. So the three facts which we collect is also logo. So we need to classify the brand as well as the ingredients and match tabulate the nutritional information. So this we provide to the customers. This is what we call item coding. So we leverage the same faster ASEAN to identify the nutritional region in the uh, in the in the product side, behind the product side, and then once we localize, and then we'll do OCR on that, and we tabulize the informations. So other application is that we call it as rainbow receipts, where we have a lot of panelists actually. So we recruit a lot of panelists to our program, where we ask the user to upload their receipts to the app, and then we have to uh, calculate, identify the products that they purchase, and related to the price and quantity, how much quantity that they bought, to for that, once they upload the image, and we do receipt recognition, like using, after we do OCR. So the After we do OCR, localizing the regions that we are interested in. We are interested in, the store name, and then product code, and product information, product details, and then price and quantity. So these are the facts that we are interested in. So we manually label those regions, and then we detect. And the most challenging part here is, if it is tilted or crushed or warped, the image will be tilted, means the OCR coordinates also will be hard to do the uh, align the information. So like, because sometimes it won't be aligned, the OCR coordinates won't be aligned. So we are our own in-house, wall alignment code. We call it as word alignment algorithm, like where it will align all the words in a straight line, and then it will calculate, and it will for each product, what is the corresponding price. As you can see in this receipt, right? So uh, the receipts, the product description is here, and then the price is here. Sometimes it won't be aligned properly after you get the information from those here. So we do the alignments with the algorithm, and then we associate each product with the price. Um, so that's this project is all about, uh, where we do object detection as well as OCR, and then we do NLP. So after we get the OCR, we need to calculate, what is the store and the brand as well. So based on the text information, we do, we tried a lot of methods actually, like BERT, and as well as fast text by Facebook. So fast text, it was working very well for us in this scenario, where it will classify what is the store name actually based on the information that we give. So we train this text with respect to the brand name, and as well as we also say apply the same fast text for each of the product and the description. So this is the product ID, we call it as a EAN. So for every product code, we need to associate the product description. So we trained with NLP for the same scenario for that also. So then we associate, and we even do spell corrections if there is any product description as any spelling mistakes, we do spelling correction as well there. So this is uh, this is the rainbow application that we dealt with actually. And then so this is what I was talking about, using fast text and the chain detection basically. So based on the text information, we'll calculate the chain, the retailers, and go to the next. So these are the steps modules that we use in analyzing the receipts, doing the fast tracing, and then Google OCR, and then wall, and then for chain name we do the OCR. So for correcting, we use FastText. So I think we I already mentioned that. So these are the complexity that we face. Sometimes product code will be same, but the descriptions will be different. And then sometimes the product description will be same and the code will be different. So this we solve by using FastText alone. So we collect, codes and descriptions, and then we'll manually label them, and then we'll classify properly, and as well as if there is any special characters, we'll analyze those as well. So these are the complexities that will arise during this projects, like how we rectified using FastText actually. So how we and these are the hyperparameters that we used to train the FastText, and then uh, so we created our own dictionary to train the FastText actually. So, so this is an example, like output results for the example of using FastText. Even here the OCR is wrong, but after doing NLP, Q10 night cream is classified properly here. So and then this is the ground truth, and the MRM's mixed case. It's properly classified here in using NLP. So these are using FastText how we solved the OCR corrections here in this pipeline of Rainbow. And the other project is similar to this Rainbow receipts, but this one is purchase invoice. So invoice will be having a more complexity compared to the receipts, because here in invoice you will have the tabular columns. So it will be hard to find associate the product with respect to quantity. So in receipts the OCR between the product description and quantity will be less, so it will be easier to associate them with respect to the coordinates. But here the boundaries between them will be huge. So we tried a lot of methods, and then we use to detect this by using graph neural network, so tabular graph neural network. So this is the process flow. Once you take the image of the invoice, and then we send it to the server, and then we find the regions, and then we match the each product code with the product catalog, and will so the product catalog will be collected by a backend team. So that will be in English, but once you collect in a different languages, so we translate, and there's a complexity. In some regions we have to transliterate as well. So those are the complexity that we dealt with, and we do translations, and then we have to match up with the product catalogs that we have. Um, so that is another backward algorithm that we use here. Um, so then also we the whatever the algorithm that we did, we implemented in the mobile as well. So on device itself, where it will recognize on device, the OCR as well as the object detection as well in on device itself. So there we use fast, SSD to run in on device, but the accuracy will be less compared to the backend server, where we use tabular neural the graph neural network. So as you can see here, these are the different types of receipts that we have. Like some will have tableau column, some doesn't have tableau column. So again, we tried a lot of methods, but again, the graph neural network worked well for us to detect the regions actually. To detect the so we have our own document decoding service for this. We deployed everything in cloud, and we collected across 27 countries, and 86 planned countries are there in line. So we collect across the globe the receipts and invoices, and so the challenges is Arabic as well as Chinese, where the OCR will be accuracy will be less, and still we are improving in those regions. Where Latin scripts will be easier to do the OCR, but non-Latin scripts is very challenging for us. We're still working on those, specifically in countries like Saudi Arabia and China. So it's still in progress actually. Um, this is the pipeline that for this but here we showcase faster SNN as well. So because we in some countries we use faster SNN, in some countries we use graph neural network based on the receipts actually, based on the invoice actually. So as you can see, again we use fast text to assign the description with respect to the product code, which is because we deployed this in our pipeline, and it is performing well compared to the bird. Um, so this is the paper link, like where we implemented using this graph neural network for this application, where basically it will for each of the image it will calculate OCR as well as the features extraction using CNN, and then it will do an interaction of each row versus column versus each row versus column, and then it will assign whether it is a same row or a different row, or it will pair that samples. Like based on that, it will create a tabular fashion. So it's compared to the faster SN, it is performing well if it is having a tabular fashion. So this is the output, after applying graph neural network for the invoice. So it will also find the header as well. So first it will find the header, and then for each header it will calculate the rows, recognize the rows. So we have color coded the output, and once we are only interested in the product description here, and then the quantity. So only those region is outputted here, and then uh, the product description is uh, using FastText. Again we are assigning that. So this is the output, how it will look like after the final decoding information. Mapping. This is mapping behind. So for every product that we recognize, we have a product catalog behind. So it's in our server that will be huge product catalog for every brand, every retailer. We will have a catalog. So we have to match with respect to the recognized product description, and then we have to identify the code and assign the code with respect to each other products. That is what the mapping is all about here. And then this is as I said, for offline we used Firebase ML Kit. So Firebase ML Kit is popular to do all the Google APIs in on device itself, like face recognition or object detection or OCR. So we can use ML Kit to do offline. So I used ML Kit to do the receipt recognition and on device itself. All the three will be done on device itself. So I deployed it in Germany and tested for more than 500 images, collected images, and it was the accuracy will be for that 78%. Where I used here is SSD mobile net version V2, and then the same word alignment algorithm as well as fast text that we dealt with receipts. The same, I rewritten everything in Java and then applied in on device itself. So that is also implemented in this offline. So only thing is, instead of fast and we cannot implement that in an on device. So it's just the model weight will be huge, so we cannot compress that in mobile. So mobile version. So that's why I used SSD. But compared to faster SN and SSD, accuracy, precision recall will be less. And also it will be time consuming, faster SN, but here it will be very fast SSD. So this is that on-device intrinsic coding. This is actually, we can skip the slides. So like we can be, for Firebase, I'll be explaining the pros and cons, like why we use Firebase and ML Kit. That's what I talk about here actually. Uh, as I said, we have TensorFlow Lite version, Google's TensorFlow Lite version, and Cloud Vision API as well as Neural Network API. So all three in ML they provide actually. So which is easy to do on device instead of sending back end and processing and then again sending to the auditor. So there will be a time delay. So for that we do everything in on device. So there'll be a quick review, because when the auditor go to the store, they have to see the results in real time, and then they have to assign the code for each of the product. So for that, we do it on device. But so we are increasing the yeah, processing time and backend itself, because the accuracy is very high compared to the on device. So that's why we have a trade-off there. Still improving in that scenarios. So these are the features available in MLKit. Text recognition, face recognition, barcode scanning also it's available. Image labeling also is there, and so it's very advanced features are implemented in MLKit. So very good in to do in on device actually. So this is another projects where screen recorder. So where we ask the panelist, whatever they purchased, they have to. We ask the user to take a screenshot of the order cart. So once they collect that image, then we'll be getting the product information and quantity and price. So these are the three main facts that we collect across the projects: product information, price, and quantity. So these are the three main key information that we collect across the projects, and every information that we collect from auditor. So only the way of method of collecting from the user will be different, like purchase invoice or receipts, or even in recording screen. So but the collecting information will be the same. um, as you can see, these are the several the process flow steps to find out the quantity and price, because in different apps like Amazon will have a different uh, different way of showcasing the product catalog information, but Flipkart will have a different view. But we have to train. We have a back office where labeling team will be there. We will ask the user to label those information, and then we'll train based on that, and to detect the regions. And once we collect, then we'll do OCR on that. So this is how we do collect the information from the screen recorder or receives. So this another one is like RES, we call Retail Establishment Survey. So we ask the auditor to go to the every store, right? So we ask the auditor to collect the store information also. So why we do this? Sometimes the store will be closed, and they will be shifting to the new office. So in our database, that store will be there, but we need to update those information. So we have to ask the auditor to collect the presence of the store. So for that, we need to capture the front facing of the store, and then we need to collect information like store address and telephone number that is present over there in the name boards. So there also we use the ML techniques here. So also, uh, you know uh, if you see here, it's the same process that we do, but the application is different. So because I dealt with this types of techniques, but then once I do, I will be sending out to the other teams. So they will be, because I have a time frame within 1 month. So whatever I can able to do, I will be doing within that 1 month, and then I will implement everything quickly, and then I will showcase the prototype. So, but after I send out to the production team, they will be implementing, with which is good, model, and which is giving a good accuracy. They will be implementing that. So, but I'll be involved in those pipeline as well. But my priority is, to time frame is within the 1 month. I have to, whatever the client is requirements, I have to finish it by within a month actually. So I have to give POC, and have to move on. So there will be so many applications that I've dealt, like front facing. This is retail establishment survey, we call it as. So here also we calculate the OCR, and then we assign the store name with a lat long location as well. So when they collect information of the storefront, we'll be getting the lat long as well. So then we'll be updating in the back office. So next time when auditor has to go, we'll be providing the lat long in their app. So we'll be providing the direction to the store if the store is present, and if the store is not present, then we'll be removing the lat long locations to that. So so to solve that actually, so manually the user has to collect, let's say if it is 1,000 stores, then manually he has to review every week those 1,000 stores the front facing, and then manually do the store name, and then manually type the store name and manually type the phone numbers and everything, so the information. So we do automatically by that. As well as there is another technique that we did using map scraper. We call it as a map scraper. That is this one. So what we did is here we automatically uh, we what I did is calculate all the lat longs for the entire India. So based on the lat longs that I provide, it will traverse through the entire map. Okay, so for every lat long, it will zoom into the max zoom of the map, and then it will take an image, and then it will find the stores, the icon here. Automatically using image recognition, we will be, finding out that particular store POIs. We call it the point of interest. So for every point of interest in that image, it will automatically go and click that region. So the side panel will come up, and then we will do OCR for that. It will pull out the store informations instead of doing the front view of the store. This will be easier way to more accurate way of collecting the information. So once we collect this information and traversing through the entire region, like say Chennai, it will run for an 1 or 2 days, and will update the information accordingly. So this method will be more accurate compared to the previous method by doing the storefront. So also we collect popular times, like how well is the store is crowded. So Nielsen, Google is providing the popular times of each of the store. So when we click here the store information, below this store information, there will be a popular time as well. So where here there will be a bar chart, which is on every hour what is store crowd, is it too busy or no, there is no crowd at all. So and how many counts of the crowds like present in that store. They give a real time popular times for the each of the stores. So for that also we do image recognition and calculate the bar chart um, um, of the popular times chart, and then we update those information as well as in this catalog. So this is how we'll take the screenshot of this. From this image, we'll calculate the bar, and then we'll be calculating the arrays. And for every Thursday, for 1 week data, they'll be providing and then we'll be calculating those from this image actually. So another projects that I dealt with, on Jetson Nano. Jetson Nano is recently, last year they launched it, where you can run all your CUDA programs in Jetson Nano itself, where you can run our model in small hardware which is capable of running CUDA, where you can train in that device itself. So I created a POC where we have a drone instead of going the auditor in store. So for auditors in store, will be have to pay the store owner for how long hours they go and collect. We have to pay the store owner for the auditors to go and collect the information. So for that, we come up with a solution where we place a drone in the auditor, so not to disturb any the customers. So the drone will go and collect the store images. Uh, so we calibrated the drone with the planogram where it will go on the path, and then it will collect the storefront images, and then we place on the drone the Jetson Nano. So in on device itself, it will do the localization of the object, and then it will classify the images, and then it will send the results to the back office. So it will collect all the images, and then it will send the images either to the back office, or it will do in the Jetson Nano itself. So based on the accuracy that we are progressing actually. So if it is performing well in Jetson Nano itself, then we'll be doing it in the device itself. So it will be solving our time also. So also in the Jetson Nano itself, since we have customers also picking up the project, so we'll be doing post estimation as well on that. So since we collected the images, so we do post estimation as well. So and then we do give insights like how long hours people are spending the time in the aisle, in which product, and which product they are interested in. So based on the posts where they reach and all, so we have a model to detect the products as well as post estimation. We correlate with that and then get the insights for that actually. So, and also, we need to alert the store owner if there is a zero stock alert. Like it will recognize hello in that rack, and then it will alert the user the stock is empty, and then the store owner can restock the aisle actually. So we do zero stock alert as well from the drone itself. So this is how it looks. This is captured from the drone itself. So this also from the drone. So this is like the POC that we did in our office. Like we have a small aisle which is having two racks where we do all the POCs here. So these are the recent projects that I did and showcase the use cases that we are doing in Nielsen. Also, we have our own data science studio platform where for to do the regression analysis, or we collect a lot of information apart from these images, right? So we collect store information, and we need to forecast the price as well. So there will be a lot of projects related to that. So for that, to run those models, we have our own platform called Data Science Studio, where in the cloud we'll have Spark cluster to run those models. Like it will calculate, because the data size is very very huge. Like it'll be billion rows to perform models on those billion clusters. So we need definitely to use the cloud platform. So we created this Data Science Studio, where we have our own recipe service pipeline called, for every project it will automatically, it will be in queue, and it will run in containers, and it will calculate the informations based on the model that they've created, and it will automatically scale up, and once it is done, and then it'll close the container. So we this is currently we've been working on this science studio as well. um, so this will help all the projects to to model everything in one place, and we use Airflow for that to orchestrate, uh, and Jupyter Hub to code those models. So uh, this is what the use cases are, and I'll be moving into to the next topic, like where what we did in related to OCR recognition on any language using deep learning. So if you see here, so I'm going to show quickly go through this, because this is a we don't want to see the comparisons and all. Like I'll just quickly show you how I solved. Also I patented for this method actually. So this is very based on the image processing and deep learning. We did the OCR, but major pattern is calculating the line information, but detecting and the recognition of the characters is a trivial method, where I use faster assessment alone. This is totally so there is no cost for an OCR, and as well as The receipt recognition also I did in the same process flow. So where I also deployed this in a container, created an API for this. So it looks the API will look same related to the same as Google API. So if you see in Google API, the output will be a JSON where it will have word level and then character level and then so the same architecture, same information I used to reproduce the output. Only thing is, here this is the process. Like first, I identify the text line, detecting the line, text block of the line, and then do character recognition. So then finally apply faster assistant to recognize the characters. So these are the two papers which has helped me to you know to do the research on this paper actually. So I compared all the. This is the comparison for across the methods for OCR, did for detecting the line, text line, as well as uh, the line which I mentioned is the baseline of the text actually. So the also scene text detection as well. Also I tried. So both I tried. Then I created my own architecture for that. So where I train model automatically with respect to the images I collect, and then this is how I deployed. So I don't want to go in depth on in this model architecture, but I will go into the algorithms, how what algorithm I use. So I used block text detection using RUnit. So RUnit is used for the text line detection for historical documents. So if for very old documents where it'll be performing very well compared to other scene text detection actually. So there is a two-stage detector actually. So where it is incorporated using UNIT. So where there'll be two models, like one is attention model and then one is residual model. So residual is increased depth representation of text, and then spatial attention is the other one. So and then once you collect those information features, and then we classify each pixel whether it is belonging to the baseline or a separator or other background. So three classes. So once you calculate the baseline, so each pixel will be classified here. So whether it is a baseline or a separator. So basically, so once you calculate the baseline, so I did just a simple binary conversion of that image of the baseline. So where you will have three channels, and then in one of the channel where we'll get the baseline image with after converting to binary, we can extract the lines. So the line will look like this actually. So once you find this is the baseline and this is the separator, starting and ending of the each of the character that is detected here. So it will have a separator as well. So this is the two channel output. This is a separate channel output. So channel one and channel two. The third channel will have will have the both. So what I did is I did using binary conversion, and then I extracted the information of the lines, and then I created a bounding box of that the text height of the image, and then created a bounding box for each of the lines actually. Then I extracted that information. So what I did is here I created a semi-automatic labeling system where the challenge is we have millions of images. Um, to do that labeling manually for each of the characters. So this is at character level recognition. So to label those, it will be a time consuming. So for that, what I did is I ran Google OCR for all those images, and so it will output for any language. So whatever Google is having for those languages, I ran automatically the OCR for one time, and then for let's say thousands of images, and then for those images, I will have the coordinates. I'll For that coordinates, I will be converting those into Pascal VOC format. So, and then I will import that in the labeling tool. So it will look like this. So we'll have the coordinates for each of the characters, characters, and then we'll have bounding box. So once we have the Pascal VOC format, I'll be training object detection on each of the characters actually. So if you see, I used ResNet 101 architecture for this, and the anchor size is the key to detect the characters actually. So the anchor size I used is 1, 2, 3, and ratio is 0.5, 1, and 2. So if you use this alone, so the receipts characters are very small compared to the size of the document. So based on the size of the document, the ratios will be anchor size will be calculated. So here the anchor size fits perfectly well for this 1 and 2 and 3. So then only it will detect these characters very well. And you see, I'm getting precision recall for 95% FN score, and precision is 92. So so this this is alone only for line detection alone. So a character object detection matrix is this one. So I used 85 classes. So uh, everything I manually coded for each of the characters. Whatever whatever the Google is outputting, I just named it as it is, and a few of the characters special symbols I named it and labeled as the down arrow. Or I given my own naming conventions here, but this is the output for matrix for the character level. So for 100K iteration, the precision is 93, and recall is 88, and it's converged very well actually. So this is the output, sample output when I give RUNet text detection line for a given receipt. This will be the baseline and converted baseline binary format of that image. Once you have the binary format, and then uh, so once each of the character bounding box classified, I'll be based on the character distance. I'll be grouping them for the world level. So here the left hand side is a character level output. So as you can see, each of the so these are all like object detection. So not character recognition I did. So these are all object detection. Like each of the characters I trained with, and then it will classify whether it is the characters, and then I grouped based on the distance of the characters, and then I grouped it, and this is at the word level output. So after transforming it, so as you can see, since there'll be some downside because I'm still working on the conversion of character level to word level. Since as you can see, based if to improve the distance based approach, because here the distance is very less, so it is grouped very well. But here in the characters, if it is characters very huge, like total, as you can see total here, the distance between the characters is very large, and then that's why it's not grouped properly and converted as a word level. So still working on that aspect actually. As you can see, even if the invoice is very large and lengthy, so we will be merging the receipts if it is very lengthy, and then for that also it is detecting very nicely. So as you can, these are the sample outputs how based on this method. So I produce the same, same as Google. So you can to have the same consistency to implement across the application. So text annotation, full text annotation will be there. So whatever in this method also I produce the same hierarchy. So it will be easier to implement to our other applications by changing just the algorithm. So I'm still working on this handwritten scripts. So that's my future plan actually. So um, so I worked on online handwritten recognition, but it's I know how complex it is, and we did a lot of challenges over there. So for Indian languages. So this is not an easy area to do this. But still, there are a lot of research going on handwritten scripts as well. So I'm still exploring those to find a new algorithm for that. So I'm still working on those as well. So printed receipts, I think whatever Google is having, like Google is having 56 languages, I extracted for those and then I trained it. So for those I have for with respect to our images alone. So this is particularly for your own problem statement alone. This OCR is very well. So if we have variation of images, then we have to collect those and then train based on that. So if it is for receipt, this is for receipt alone OCR. So it'll be working very high for receipt alone. For document, it won't work well because I didn't train with the document. So if you have labels and samples for that, then it will definitely detect based on that actually. So other area aspects is like Yeast is also very good library. I'm still trying to incorporate Yeast in this process flow and then try to see whether I can improve the detection rate. So and also I deployed this in mobile as well using TF Lite and mobile version also. So that is also I did. So and that's it for the OCR. And if we have time, I can go through what I did in document scanner using instant segmentation based on mask RCNN as well. So this is also
Few minutes quickly. Can you summarize this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the major problem is getting the images from the consumer, right? So the panelist member will have the receipts crushed or munched, so it will be hard to detect the product information. So for that, even if you collect the information and send it to backend, a lot of processing has to be done. Like you need to rotate, or you need to calculate the line baseline, and then you need to find the angle, and then you have to tilt it, and then you have to do OCR. If it is complexity like lighting condition, it won't detect. So for those type of complexity, I used mask RCNN to to do automatically do the mask, create for mask of each of the image, and then it will identify only the image portion of the receipt. Then it will warp it, and then for those lines also the same using RUnit I did. Sorry, same mask RCNN. I did the mask of each of the line. So to find the angle of the line and to tilt easily and do the warping. So for that I used mask RCNN to improve the accuracy compared to the standard object detection. And then on post processing, when you do all the post processing, like calculating the bounding box coordinates, and manually assigning each word to create a orientation. So those are the challenges overcome in this method. So as you can see in the output, we'll see like based on the lines how it will be warped and all. So this is the high level in this projects, like what I did to get the line from using mask itself. So since it will be very high accurate compared to the object detection, since it's like a pixel level classification, so it will be accurate compared to the previous methods. So yeah, that's it. Sir.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sri Charan. Any questions,
Yeah.
folks?
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hi.
Charan, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Hi. So like you're collecting data, like the purchase details. So like now, many stores are like they have their own like digital data, right? Can we have can we take that also into an account so that it will be
Yeah,
more
yeah,
easier?
correct. So wherever in hypermart, so like for from that stores we will collect those informations, but compared to the big mega marts, so we will be having this traditional trades stores will be there. So those are the huge numbers where we are facing these challenges. So compared to those, this stores will be huge in number. So, but yeah, you're right. So we'll be collecting directly digitized data as well. So that can be, easily can be given by the store owner itself. So if we have a contract, they'll be providing those data. So, but the stores which is having those technologies are high in number actually.
Yeah, thank you.
So Sricharan, I have a question because you brought up this Google OCR,
Yeah,
which you used to, I think, for ground truthing data, right? For
correct,
annotating data. So
correct.
now, when you trained on top of that data, so is your system better than Google OCR?
Yeah, so if you say wherever your semi-automatic, so once you get the automatic labeling from the Google OCR, then I'll be manually reviewing it and correcting those, right? So comparatively, if I run for new images for receipts alone, it is better than Google actually.
So yours is optimized for receipts.
Correct, optimized for receipts. Yeah.
Okay. Now, one question about India. So you said you have trained it on 56 languages, right?
Correct. So whatever,
include Indian languages?
Yeah. So in Latin scripts alone. Latin scripts alone.
Okay. Okay. So it's for Indian language. It's still an open problem. Meaning for even for OCR.
Correct.
Handwriting it's even more difficult.
Yeah. That's
But
really
are there a lot
challenging.
of opportunities for Indian languages in India, or you guys are only serving the Western markets?
Majorly in Western markets, but we are into Indian markets as well for Hindi sometimes, but in China and Arabic. So this is three major retailers that we have collecting information from the ships. So,
Okay, I have one more question. So you talked about an application where a drone is kind of released into a store.
Yeah.
Right, it runs around and scans all the products and makes some kind of a stock taking.
Yeah.
And now that has to be done in a short time.
Correct.
Right, so that means you have to plan the trajectory of this drone.
Correct.
It has to avoid people. You can't bump into people. It has all that, right? There's lots of constraints.
Yeah.
How do you plan the trajectory?
Correct. So we have the planogram of the store. So we'll get from the planogram of the store from the store owner itself. So based on the store, and then we also collect heat maps of the store and everything. So what we did is we plan the trajectory based on that. So when people is not there, then only this drone will go and collect the information. So otherwise it will be go and straight in the in the place, and then it will collect only the from the security camera. It will collect the information of the post estimation. It won't go directly and collect the post estimation when it's flying. So it will, when it's in idle stage, then it will collect the post estimation. But the drone will go and only when people are not there, like after the store ending time or during that time before stock closing, that time it will go and collect the information. But still it's in it's not in production yet. So we tested in one store alone. So it's still in implementation stage actually.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Anurag, you have any questions?
Not a question. Actually, I'm very much curious about how much time did it take to grab all this data, because it's a very lengthy and
amount of work. Yeah.
So we have a auditor team. So like we're huge in number, like across the globe, everywhere. The main key thing is collecting the data. So we have a huge team for that. We call them as an auditors or data acquisition team, where they go manually to the store and we collect all the informations. It'll be there are a lot of improvements has to be done using ML techniques, but this is where we are right now, and for this is as Sar said, like it's only right now it's in Western market alone, like because English and this for these languages we are right now it's automating it, but for other languages it's very still in research stage to improve a lot actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? There are no questions. Let's thank the speaker. Sricharan, I must say, as for myself, I learned so many new things in this talk. I really enjoyed it. Right, you're doing fantastic work. And thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir. Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So we'll keep in touch. Okay, I'll get
Yeah,
back.
definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks for your time.
Bye. Well, thank you.
Yeah, bye.